Tonight I've got for you a book called Little Miss Wise. Now this is by Roger Hargraves. Now he's written lots of little books, Mr. Men books and Miss books as well. So we've got lots of little ones. For example, Little Miss Neat, Little Miss Sunshine, we have Little Miss Wise, Little Miss Fun. Tonight we're going to be reading about Little Miss Wise. Let's have a look. Little Miss Wise. All right. Little Miss Wise was as wise as an owl, possibly two owls. Being so wise and sensible meant that Little Miss Wise brushed her teeth every day, made her bed every day, tidied her house every day, and did lots of other wise and sensible things. If you're as wise as Little Miss Wise, you'll know just what kind of other things she did. She's brushing her teeth. It's very wise. Little Miss Wise liked to go for walks every day, or go for a walk every day. A walk that was neither too long nor too short. A walk that was wise and sensible, or sensible and wise if you prefer. On her walks she often met other people, people who were not quite so wise, and sometimes people who were decidedly unwise. I think here's one of them now. Last Monday she met Little Miss Naughty. "Come and jump in puddles," cried Little Miss Naughty, with a naughty gleam in her eye. I actually think it's fun to jump in puddles. But Little Miss Wise, being wise, refused. She didn't want to get her feet wet. Maybe if she had gumboots on, she would have. On Tuesday, she met Little Miss Greedy, who was carrying an enormous cake filled with cream and smothered with pink icing. "Would you like some of this?" asked Little Miss Greedy. Little Miss Wise refused. She didn't want to get an upset stomach. On Wednesday, Little Miss Wise refused to get in Mr. Busy's racing car. She didn't want to have an accident. Look, racing cars raced past. Who's this? On Thursday, she refused to go into Mr. Messy's house. "If I go into his house, I will get dirty," she said to herself. But she didn't say anything to Mr. Messy. She didn't want to hurt his feelings. What's next? On Friday, she refused to play tennis with Mr. Silly. There's Mr. Silly. That is silly. Look at his racket and his tennis ball at square. Who's ever seen a square tennis ball? There's nothing silly about that, is there? I think there's lots of silly things. By Saturday, Little Miss Wise was feeling unhappy. "If I keep saying no all the time, I'll upset everybody and I won't have any friends left," she said to herself. She thought long and hard about the problem, and being the wise and sensible person she is, she came up with an answer. "From now on, I will say yes to everything." Let's see how this goes. On Sunday, while she was out on one of her wise and sensible walks, or sensible and wise walks if you prefer, Little Miss Wise met Mr. Mischief. He was carrying a parcel. "Please accept this small present," he said to her. She started to say no. Began Miss Wise, but then she remembered her decision. "Yes, thank you," she cried. She's saying yes to everything now. What happens? She took the parcel and off skipped Mr. Mischief with a mischievous grin on his face. Oh, I think there could be some trouble. What's happened? Little Miss Wise opened the parcel. "A tissue!" She sneezed, and then sneezed again, and she sneezed again, and sneezed all day long. She used 199 handkerchiefs. Mr. Mischief's present had been sneezing powder. Oh dear. Oh dear. Look. Today is Monday, and little Miss Wise has stopped sneezing. She is on one of her wise and sensible walks, or sensible and wise walks if you prefer, and she has met Mr. Nonsense. Would you like to ride in my aeroplane? He asks. Little Miss, she's going to say no again. Little Miss Wise starts to say, but she changes her mind and exclaims, oh yes, please. You think she's being very unwise, don't you? You think she should have learned her lesson by now, don't you? Well, she's safe this time. Because Mr. Nonsense's aeroplane doesn't have any wings or an engine or even wheels. It's just a doormat. Have you ever heard of such nonsense? Oh my. That's the end of the story. How good is that? So she's saying no to everything. And then if you say no to everything, you don't get to enjoy anything. So then she started to say yes. And it didn't all go bad. I think she'll be much happier saying yes to some things as well. Anyway, that's the story for tonight. Maybe instead of saying no to everything, you can think about some things you'd like to say yes to as well. Maybe there's things that friends have wanted to do, but you didn't want to. Maybe just try something different. Anyway, I think that's a great story. And I hope we read some other Little Miss books in future. Have a great night. Sleep well.